was told that you don't want me. Baby, you're just cold and you know I try to hold on to the way I saw you move.
What up, tube, and welcome back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber channel. What we are going to do here, guys, is we are going to do a zero razor fade with a little bit of a drop in the back, scissors on top, finished off with a razor fade with our Bronze Series 9 shaver. As always, guys, I'm providing this tutorial in real time, so you guys get the real effect of how long it takes you to complete a haircut. This haircut took me approximately 20 minutes to complete. So what I'm starting off here, guys, I'm starting off using my wall balder, and I have a zero gap, and what I do is I turn it upside down and I'm just creating that first guideline. As you can see, I start off at the temple, and as I get to the ear, I kind of drop the fade down a little bit in the back. It's what I call it's kind of a semi-drop fade, not too. A regular drop fade would have had more of an angle, but I'm just dropping down the back a little bit to get that effect. As always, guys, any tool that I use in these videos, that's why I call them out for you. I have them listed in my description, so any tool that you see on here that you want to purchase, you can just click on the link and order directly from the video. So right here, I'm just finishing up my guideline. As you can see, the wall balder does an amazing job of just knocking down everything, guys. It almost leaves it completely smooth. You almost get nothing left there. Once I create that first guideline, I quickly turn my customer around the other way. As always, you guys know that when I fade in 3 sections. I never fade all the way around the head. I fade on one side first, then I move on to the back side, and then I move on to the other side. Never really going all the way around the head. So what I'm going to start off with right here is I'm going to start off with my number 4 lever open. And the machine I'm using right here is I'm using the Barber Gold FX. Great machine, guys. If you guys haven't tried this, I should highly recommend this machine. So I'm going off the floor, and I'm just basically going off the crown of the head, right off the parietal ridge, not following the parietal ridge in. So right here, I put on my number 1 clip, lever open, which makes it a 1.5, and I'm creating another guideline. Basically, I'm going up to maybe the halfway up to the crown. Remember, the crown is, if there were a crown around their heads, it'd be the bottom of the crown, the center of the crown, and the back of the top of the crown. So right there, I'm just going up and creating another guideline. Once I go across, I lower my lever halfway, and I'm going to go halfway up. Basically, I'm just lining up the dark spots on the bottom, guys. Just lining it all up. It's a very simple haircut right here, guys. Simple. So right here, we're just basically just lining up the bottom area right there. What I've done here is I've gone up with my 1.5, and I've created a guideline right there. Once I create that guideline, now what I'm going to move on is I'm going to move on to some clipper over comb, and I'm going to just blend in that 1.5 to the side of the 4. Remember, we started with a 4, then we went up with a 1.5 and created a guideline. Now we're just going to blend it out with some clipper over comb. Clipper over comb using the Barber Gold FX. Of course, there's different ways of blending this in, guys. If you wanted to, you could probably use the clips. You could use, I started with a 4, you could use a 3, then a 2, then the 1.5, blending all in down to the 1.5. But for me, I find it easier to find the right comb for yourself and do some clipper over comb on this situation right here. So now that we've done that, I noticed there was a little bit of a dark spot right there, and so what I did is I put on my 1.5 clip, and I'm just gonna lightly just swat at it, kind of just raking that dark spot. And once I raked it, I noticed that it went away. So now I take off my clip, no clip on the machine, lever open, and I'm gonna go across and create another guideline all the way across. Once I go across, I'm going to lower my lever 1 notch, and I'm going to go back the other way. And I'm just not going up as high, going up a little less high than I went the last time. All the way across. Once I go all the way across, and I'm going to lower my lever another notch right there. Now I'm going to go up halfway up, and just basically I'm kind of more than anything just raking that bottom line, trying to push that bottom line into the middle. Now I lower my lever all the way and I'm just working on the bottom line. Just raking that bottom shadow, pushing it up. Once you push that shadow up, push the bottom up, what I like to do is I'll grab my half clip and then I'll go and I'll work on that center shadow that I've created. See this? If you can see the shadow right there in the center, that's the shadow that's created by the half. So in order to remove that half, you have to use your half clip. Here's a half clip, lever open, and I'm just going to rake it lightly across the center of that shadow. Once I rake it across, then I lower my lever a quarter way, and I'm just basically working on that center shadow. Once I go across it, then I lower my lever another quarter way and another notch, and just keep raking that center shadow. Once you rake it a couple of times, and then you'll see that the shadow starts lightening up. Always have a baby brush, guys. You can see right there, I pointed out to a little spot right there, and that little spot is a half spot, I call it. So what I did is I took off my clip, no clip, and I'm just gonna lightly rake at that spot. I probably have my lever set halfway right there, and I'm just focusing on that little center shadow. I always find it easier, guys, when I'm fading to have a baby brush in my hand or any kind of brush, but that little brush right there is so helpful. You just, you know, push the hair down, because sometimes you'll actually cut the hair, but the hair will stay on there and it looks like you didn't cut nothing. So if you use a baby brush, the baby brush allows you to knock it down and move it down. So right here, quickly, I'm moving along again, and I'm gonna grab my number 4 clip, and I'm just pushing up the hair, just setting it in that fashion that it sits, and then I'm just going to go right up the parietal ridge again. Not going in to the head, just going right up the side of the head. Number 4 is a good number to start with, guys, especially if the customer has a lot of bulk around the edges. I like to start with a number 4, and number 4 always takes it down to a nice level playing field. Number 4 always seems to work for me good, guys. So once I move on with the number 4 there, now I'm going to grab my number 1 again, lever open, and I'm going to create another guideline. And that I'm taking it up to the bottom of the crown. The bottom of the crown. And you see that? I'm just creating another guideline. So what we did is we went with the number 4 first. Now we went with the number 1, lever open, and went across. Now what I did right there is I lowered the lever to closed, and I went up halfway. Once I'm done with that, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my clipper over comb. Now I'm going to start blending out that bottom part. From the 1.5. 1.5 to the number 4. Remember that. So we're using our styling brush right here, our styling comb, and we're just going to just blend it up. The comb I'm using right here is called a carbon tooth comb. It's a carbon tooth comb. It's not a plastic comb. Lately I've been using a different kind of comb, but this is the comb I use specifically for this haircut, so we're gonna go with it right here. So we're just taking off, basically blending it. Remember, we started with a 4, then we went with a 1.5, so now we're blending the 1.5 to the number 4, make it a nice and even looking. And what it is guys, you gotta think of it like a wall. You're just kind of blending the wall out, making it nice and smooth, making sure that it blends in. There's no lines, no dark shadows, and that way you can move on to your next step. So right there, I noticed it was a little bit too dark, so I'm just gonna go a little higher with the 1.5 again. See, I pointed it out right there. There's kind of a little dark shadow, so I'm just helping myself out with the 1.5. That way, I makes a more even playing field. So now again. No clip, lever open is a half, and I'm going to go across and I'm going to create a shadow, another shadow line. Once I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and another notch, and basically just going to go up almost to the same spot. Now I lower my lever another notch, now halfway, and I'm going to go halfway up. The Babyliss Gold Gold FX is a really nice machine because of the notches that it has. If you guys haven't tried it, or if you guys thinking about getting it, I highly recommend this machine. So right there, I have my lever closed now, and I'm just basically raking that bottom shadow right there, trying to push that bottom shadow out. Guys, when you guys get to this step in a fade, and if you're having trouble getting that bottom line out, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick right now that I always use. You can see that my shadow's almost all gone right there, but I'm being aggressive with it. You have to really press down and push up, push in and pull out. That's what I always do. Push in and pull out, and to get that shadow out. But if there's still a shadow there, like there is kind of there, you can see there's still a little bit of a shadow. I'm pointing it to it right there. Now I'm gonna go with my GTX scalatorized trimmer, and I'm just gonna rake that bottom line. Just rake it back almost to the middle of where you started with the half clip. Not quite as high, because if you go too high, you'll see you create a secondary line. See the secondary line? I just pulled it up, pulled it right there, posted it right there. So now I'm gonna go my clip, my lever, three notches down, and I'm just gonna work that little shadow that I created with my trimmer. Once you knock that little shadow out, you're prepared to go on to the next step, which is the half clip. Now these are little tricks that I've figured out for myself. Once you start cutting hair and you do a lot of reps and you do a lot of haircuts, you'll develop your own little tricks to get little shadows out and little lines out. So right here now I'm going with my half clip, lever open. Sorry about my filming, I got a little too close to the camera right there, but you can see what I'm doing. It's lever open, and I'm just raking that center shadow. Real simple, guys. Just rake it. As you go across, you lower your lever a notch, and then you keep hitting that little dark spot. If the dark spot doesn't lighten up, then guess what? You lower your notch another step and do the same thing again. Right there, the back of the fade is pretty much done. You can see it all taking shape already. Remember, when I fade in 3 sections. One side, back side, and then the next side. So now we move on to the next side. Same thing again, guys. We're gonna go with a number 4, lever open, and then we're just gonna go right up the parietal ridge. Not going in the parietal ridge, just right up the side of it. And basically what I do, the reason why I do this, and I do this with a lot of my haircuts, 80% of my haircuts I start with a number 4 on the sides. And that's just to get on a level playing field. I call it a level playing field because it's easier to maneuver yourself in there. Now I'm going with a number 1 again. Number 1, lever open, which makes it a 1.5, and I'm creating another guideline. Once I go and I create that guideline, now I'm going to grab my clipper over comb again, and we're going to start blending that 1.5 to the number 4. Usually, I mean, it's only like 4 or 5 strokes, and I can blend it in, guys. It's just basically pulling out the hair, pulling it out and leveling it out to the top, and taking out whatever sticks out. And you can see that it just blends right in. Once I'm done with that, now I'm quickly going to move on to the next step. What I'm doing right here is I'm going to grab my GTX, and I'm just going to clean up the bottom of that shadow. See, I left a kind of a little shadow of darker hair. So I'm just cleaning that out. So when I go back right now and shave it, it's going to all blend right in. So now I go in with my no clip, lever open, which is a half. Create another guide. I call that my half guide. I go across, lower my lever 1/4 of the way or another notch, and I'm just going to go back up to almost to the same spot. Once I go across, I'm going to lower my lever another notch, and halfway up now. Halfway up, and I'm just going in the opposite direction. I go from one side to the other. It's kind of like, you know, you could read and go back to the other side and start the other way, or you could just zigzag back and forth. And a lot of times I zigzag back and forth to save more time. Remember, guys, time is money, especially when you're fading, you know. So right now I'm going with my half clip again, and I'm just basically raking that center shadow. The center shadow that I keep talking about. That's a shadow that I created with my half. It takes a half clip to get rid of a half shadow. Remember that, okay, guys? If you're having a problem with that, I remember when I started fading, the shadow that would give me the biggest problem was a half shadow. For some reason, I could not get that half shadow up. And the way I finally learned how to get rid of it was by using the half clip. It was as simple as that. Once I discovered the half clip, it was all easy peasy after that. So right here, I'm quickly moving along with my Bronze Series 9. The Bronze Series 9 is the Elite Shaver. If you guys haven't heard that yet, guys, there's different levels of shavers. I know a lot of people are stuck on the box shavers like the Andes and the Wall, but when you move into the Bronze Series, Bronze Series level of shaving, it saves you so much time and so much money, because you're just not buying screens all the time, the time alone that it takes me to mow this down right here is way faster than it does with other box shavers. I highly recommend that you get yourself a Bronze Series 9. If you don't want to fork out the cash for the Bronze Series 9, then I suggest you fork out the cash for the Bronze Series 7, which is the little brother of the Bronze Series 9, and it works just as good and it's just as nice, but with half the price. But those two shavers right there are the best shavers out there that I can tell, and I've been in this business for a while, and believe me guys, I graduated from the box shavers that you guys are using now. So right there, I'm just basically just taking up all the stubble, making sure that my fade looks nice and tight. Right up the sides. Staying below my shave line. Remember, stay below the line where you started fading. You don't want to go any higher than that, because then you're taking away from the fade that you just created right now. This is a basic fade, guys. Nothing special about it. We're not using the straight razor. We're not gonna no hard lines. He's just a nice gentleman right here that goes to our local university, and he likes to keep it simple. Just zero fade, a little bit of scissors on top. What I sprayed on him right there, guys, in case you guys don't know, I sprayed some aftershave on him. After every single shave that I do on the sides of the head, I always spray my customers. It helps with maintaining razor bumps and all that stuff. So we quickly move on to the top of the head. The top of the head, I usually like to saturate the hair a lot, guys. I like to have it nice and wet. And if you guys don't know, these combs that I'm using right here, these are steel tooth combs. They're not plastic. That's why it's nice and gold. It's a very nice comb. Doesn't bend, doesn't get ugly, easy to clean. If you guys want to order one, there's some in the description below. So what I do right here, guys, is I wet the hair a lot. You guys already know my videos. When I cut the top, I always cut the top. If it's scissors, I cut it after I do the sides. If it's clip, I do that before I do the sides. So since this is scissors, I'm just basically right here, I'm going to take off about 1/4 of an inch. I always start in the corner, front right corner. I'm going to go up, grab another 1/4 inch, go up, and as I go back, I'll grab a little bit more. I'll go to 1/2 inch. So I start off at the 1/4 in the front, and then 1/2 inch as I get to the back. Not taking too much off, guys. This is a simple haircut. It kind of just combs it back like a little bit of a pomp. So right here in the front, I'm gonna take off about another 1/4 inch. And you can see that he kind of combs it a little bit to the side and back. So I'm just kind of combing it in that direction. And I'm just basically taking off that 1/4 inch. Now I'm gonna go to the other side and right there and just take off. I can see it when I look at the top, from the top of the head, I can see where there's more bulk and what needs to be taken down, and a little bit more on this side, a little bit more on that side. Using my guides as I pull up, I can see my guide that I created. So now, as always, I checker my hair. First, I come from front to back, and then I'll go from side to side. Again, when I go from side to side, I'm just lifting it up, and I'm looking at the cuts that I made when I went from front to back, and I can see exactly where I missed. And I'm just checkering it, that way it's nice and even. At this point, guys, the haircut's pretty much done. The top's done, the sides are done. What I like to do at the end of this haircut right here now is I'll grab my clipper over comb. Once I comb it over, I comb it back, and then I could tell and I'll see what I missed on the sides. And this is always my last detail spot right here. I like to do a little bit of clipper over comb. Just keep it nice and level, make it nice and even. Make sure that there's no dark shadows, always use your mirrors, guys. When you guys are doing these last final steps, I'll always glance over at my mirror, make sure, look at the mirror, because when you're looking at a haircut dead on, sometimes the eyes will deceive you and show you things that aren't even really there. So what you want to do is you want to look into the mirror, look through the mirror at your haircut, and you'll see shadows that you can't see when you're looking at it with your bare eye. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I always do. So at this point, guys, I'm just doing little minor details and little cleanups, but this haircut is done. This haircut took me 20 minutes to do. Remember, guys, if there's any questions you guys have, anything that you guys want me to explain in more detail, please just leave me a message below. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Share this video with somebody if you feel that they could benefit from it. Make sure you keep an eye out because we're almost at the 1K subscribers, and I will be giving away a free magic clip, cordless magic clip. So make sure you watch out for that video coming up, so you guys don't miss out on that. So right here, I'm just basically just finishing up the haircut, doing a little bit of detail work, making sure behind the ear that there's no hair, there's nothing sticking out. Just last minor detail work. Alright guys, that's it for this video. As always guys, I appreciate you guys watching. We at Big Al's Barber Channel are here as a useful resource for all barbers, barbershop owners, or barber students that are wanting to get into this business. If you want to be in this business, you just gotta grind hard guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Lates.